My Little Ponies, Season 9, Episode 14. The Last Laugh. So, a cheese sandwich has an almost literal laugh factory.
Yep.
Um, and we get an interesting little tidbit from Pinky. Is there's a whole paragraph from her that's, you know, interesting. It kind of sets off the episode, but it's a little odd. But Pinky, oh that? Yeah, it's just all of you found your thing. You're gonna rule all of Equestria. Dash is a Wonderbolt. Fluttershy has her animal sanctuary. Rarity has her boutiques. Applejack has the hat and the farm. So that's like two things. I don't even have one. When I first got Cheese's invite, I was a little jealous. I felt like even he was moving on to bigger and better things, and every pony was leaving me behind. But then I realized Cheese Sandwich is a party pony just like me. If he figured out his purpose, he can help me figure out mine. So it does sort of wrap up arcs to a certain extent. She sort of summed up all the arcs of every character. But
Yeah, I love how pissed Applejack was with it's like, and Applejack has her hat.
and the
And
farm. That's like two things. But see, that's the thing about Applejack is she doesn't really have much of an arc. She's
yeah,
just sort of been.
she's
She had
always
her arc before the
was.
series started chronologically. Because her arc was her trip to New York or Manhattan rather. That was her arc. She went to Manhattan. She tried something different and found that her purpose was on the farm. And she found out relatively early what she was meant to do, her purpose, what
Mhm.
she's, what makes her happy, what's her bliss. And it's apple farming and, being around her family. And that's what makes her happy. She doesn't have big dreams or anything. She's already kind of living the dream. And Pinky's kind of the same way. She had her little thing with figuring out, oh hey, I like parties. I like doing parties, so she moved in with the cakes and moved to Ponyville, moved in with the cakes, and started doing party things. And so she starts doing that before the series even starts. So the two Earth ponies were already kind of living their purpose already. You know, Twilight's slowly been fulfilling her purpose. Rainbow Dash recently, relatively recently, finished fulfilling her purpose of becoming a Wonderbolt. Um, Rarity has over the last few seasons has gotten her boutiques up, and so she's got boutiques, Ponyville, Canterlot, Manhattan, and who knows where else she's gonna put it next. But she's got 3 boutiques, you know, 2 in major cities. I guess Ponyville's kind of a minor city, but it's where she's based, so she can actually not be swarmed, but and be around her
Yeah.
friends. But and then Fluttershy sort of got her she kind of got her purpose and solved her purpose in one episode. It's like, you know what I've always wanted to do? Have an animal sanctuary. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get an animal sanctuary. Now that I've got friends and some connections, I'm gonna do that. And she does it. And that's an episode. She sort of announces her life's purpose and reaches her life's purpose in an episode. I mean, it's not a very surprising life's purpose. It's just more of an extension of what she already was doing. But it's sort of, okay, this is sort of the capstone to what I wanted to do anyway. So, eh. I mean, they've all had bits of development here and there, but AJ's probably been the least developed in terms of there's just not a lot to do with her. She's the rock in the middle of this thing, and just like everybody else can go crazy, everybody else can go weird, but most of the time, Applejack is just like this like rock.
She just has no character development. That's why she's a background pony.
No, she was already sort of mature and developed before the show began. I mean, she had a little stubbornness, but they kind of handled that in season 1. And occasionally, every once in a while, it crops up, but that's basically one of her only flaws. And so she doesn't have a lot of flaws. So, like, she's basically a finished character coming in. So that sort of, it's helpful to have a sort of almost finished character that sort of had all this development, like before the show starts, so that they become this even keel that sort of, all right, you can all go crazy. Dash can be all crazy arrogant and whatnot, and Applejack can pull her in, and Twilight can go nuts, and Applejack can just sort of be this kind of calming influence. It's like she's just this sort of rock at the middle of this crazy nexus of big personalities, and that's what she's just stable. That's what she is. Horse puns. But yeah, she's just sort of stable, and that's sort of, despite her objections, she's doing what she wants to do. She's exactly where she wants to be. Outside of that little brief dalliance with rodeo that she does every once in a while, that's more of a hobby than a purpose. So she's, she's good. She's
Well,
happy.
everybody needs a hobby.
Yeah, that's her hobby. The rodeo's her hobby. She likes doing that. Her purpose is what she's doing every day. She's farming. She's you know, bucking apples or planting trees or weeding gardens and doing, the farm work. And that makes her happy. So it's actually not a slam on her. It's, she's been where she needed to be the entire series. Basically. Outside of an episode. Uh,
Don't really have that many Applejack episodes because
she's
she doesn't have much character development left.
Yeah, that's why she hasn't had much of a solo shot. Um, like the main attraction was a good episode for her because it wasn't about her developing; it was using her to develop another character. Rara went from it's like was using her already sort of built character to help another character, and that's what she's good at. Um, but yeah, I mean, she's mostly like, but she don't have a lot of solo shots, but she is in a lot of like, oh, these two are the focus sort of episodes because she's really good for one character to go completely crazy while she's like completely sort of stable and going, all right, pull it back, not so much.
Oh, leave the kitty alone!
But anyway, moving on. Pinky has achieved doing the impossible, eating the inedible. Row row, bite the power. Inedible cupcake invitation that she still eats. Um,
Yeah. And Jack even was like, "She's eating that. She's silly." And
yes.
and then it's like, should you be eating that? Is that even edible?
Nope.
I do not know.
Yeah, and we get so you have that whole little meeting of I'm gonna go find my life's purpose and meet cheese and do all this, and it's like it's and it does go very Wonka. Like the outside is somewhat drab. That for a laugh for a gag factory, it's very drab. I mean, it's very much Sans smirk is very much you could feel his influence in the
He's very droll.
yeah, he's just very dry humor, and he just
Yeah.
doesn't have the he doesn't laugh.
Is
It's
Ben
not that he
Stein?
doesn't find it funny, it's just that he doesn't that's not a visceral reaction to him.
He reminds me of Ben Stein. You
Okay.
know, the Free Rise
Yeah,
guy.
I suppose so. Yeah, the guard pony. It even gets to the sort of This factory's shut tight. No pony ever comes out, and no pony ever goes in, including you. So move along." Which was kind of what they were saying about, you know, Wonka's factory, in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. It's like, nobody goes in, nobody comes out. You know.
Yeah, that was the first thing that's like, huh, that makes me think of this.
Yes. And so, yeah, it's very austere and impersonal on the outside. Though the whole factory itself is not particularly, you know, it's very sterile looking. I mean, like, outside of Cheese's office, the whole place is very sterile. It just, yes, this is a factory floor. Yes, this is a lab. It's like, it's not decorated very well. It's just sort of gray. Maud would like it, but, you know, not very, not very conducive to. Oh, that looks fun. Looks like a fun place. So she meets the very dry Sans smirk. Sans meaning without. Uh,
Yeah.
doesn't laugh or be outwardly jolly himself, but given her elder sister, I suppose that is less of a shock to Pinky. He does take comedy very seriously and is all about maximizing the laughter of an idea through rigorous study. So he likes jokes, likes laughter, wants to increase that, but he's not much of one himself. I mean, his cutie mark's a wet blanket,
Yeah.
but
It really did kind of feel like a Mod Pie type situation.
yeah,
You know, I love jokes.
yeah, it's you know, if she wasn't already dating Mudbriar, it's like
Yeah.
you and Sans Smirk might get along. um,
There's
uh,
such thing as friendship.
yeah, yeah, but like, you know, if Mudbriar wasn't in the picture, but those two are just too. Those two are just too perfect for one another that it's hard to imagine putting her with anyone else.
Right. I mean,
Swoon.
even the whole Mudbriar, Maudbriar. I mean, their ship name just flows perfectly.
Yeah, he was almost, I imagine, almost literally made for her.
Yeah. What do you mean almost?
Well, I mean, yeah, I was just leaving out any slight chance of anything else. Like, they came up with the character, and then they said, "Oh wait, this is you know this is just like modern." You know, they may have had just some character spitballing sessions, and they went, "Hey, what if she has a boyfriend, and this is the perfect guy for that?" But yeah, if they started with the episode and like, Maud has a boyfriend, and then they started from there, then yes, he was literally made for her. But yeah, it just depends on which way the character came first, and they discovered that, hey, that would be a good one for her, or they came up with the idea for the episode and needed a character, and then built the character to fit. But anyway, Pinky had some ideas: a water spraying shirt, not the flower; a ventriloquist whoopee cushion; a very sticky banana peel when presented with the ultimate slippery peel, which that's got to have all sorts of OSHA problems. Um, that's why it's under glass, so it doesn't go anywhere. So they go see Cheese. Weird Al's deep, boring voice at the very beginning of when he, you know, like, she first shows up. He kind of sounds like he's doing a Kevin Conroy impression, a little bit.
I don't know who that is.
Batman the animated series from the '90s.
I never watched it.
Okay, well, if you've ever seen any part of it, he played Batman. If you've
Uh,
if you've ever seen anything that was that Mask of Phantasm, anything from that era, I think even into Justice League. Basically, for a very long time, he was just straight up the voice of Batman. It's like there was nobody else. That was the voice of Batman. I think he's gone away from that somewhat, like he's retired somewhat from it, but and so they've had other people take over the role. But like I think he was Justice League and all the anything from the 90s Batman Superman sort of thing. That was all him. Um, but he's got a great voice for it. Um, also, luckily, Pinky is not looking the right direction because Cheese has a Pinky plushie in the
Oh,
in the background. If you look at his office, when she first comes in, behind her, there's a Pinky plushie. um, so he's lost his laugh and taken on the wardrobe of Steve Jobs. um, so basically, he had a problem of scale. The way it worked out, he was creating great gags, but he couldn't keep up with the band. So Sans
well,
is like,
it's a good thing that Pinky came then but she didn't bring Gummy. He's got lots of scales.
anyway, he's
Although,
great. He's creating great gags. We could keep up with demand. Sounds helped organize the factory, and with it, they could meet demand. But the factory life killed his creativity and his laugh. This dude doesn't even know me anymore. Doesn't even recognize me anymore. This dude spins around the chair in disappointment. I can't even look at you.
so is it a possessed chicken or something?
There's no telling. It's a rubber chicken that apparently has some serious ability to move. Or Cheese just is so dedicated to the joke that he's got, some strings or something on his desk where he can pull a string and boom, this turns around. But so Pinky tries practical comedy, pratfalls, and even Smiler exercise, which that was a little. Which he says, I don't understand. We've tried everything: stand-up, classic gag, physical humor, prop comedy, vaudeville, surrealist alt scene character pieces. Nothing's worked. And just when she's about to give up and they're about to leave, she's like, "Yeah, when he used to be on the road, he was he's creating gags left and right." And he's like, or something to that effect. And at that point, Pinky does the whole, you know what? I don't recognize your authority physics. Jumps while in the air, sort of freezes in air, does a 180, and turns around and says, "Wait."
What? Repeat what you just said?
Yeah.
And he repeats it. No, before that. And he says what she just said. No, I said that.
Yeah. Yeah, and then it's like, oh, yes. So, so immediately, uh, she's like, all right, you have to make others laugh. That's what you need to do. And so she immediately says, okay, try making Sans laugh. So I was like, that's hard mode. And then she's like, well, okay, try making me laugh. I'll laugh. It's like, you laugh at anything. She's like, she's easy mode. It's like, And so he accidentally he he does a spoonerism that makes a factory worker laugh, and that sort of starts the motor again. And he goes through a whole duet with Pinky. He realizes he needs to make others laugh. He sings in full Wonka gear, yellow top hat and all, though Wonka's was different colors, but it's very Wonka-esque.
Yeah, it was basically a negative of Wonka's.
You okay? Okay, just
Yeah. No,
okay.
no, no. I had to mute it because I had to yell at him for he was sitting on my foot as my leg was up in the chair, and he pull his weight pulled my leg down
Mm,
very painfully.
okay. Anyway, but yeah, yes. Well, his was like a purple, wasn't it? So purple would be
Yeah.
it would be yeah, that would be yellow. Yeah, because three primary colors: red, blue, and yellow, and so red and blue makes purple. So the opposite part on the color wheel would be yellow. So yeah, he's just sort of a negative that, and given his sort of orangish coloration to a certain extent, um, it goes well because they're right next to each other on the color wheel. But so he leaves the factory, and Sans is capable of saying, I've gotta be out there. I've gotta be making these, and I can always just send the ideas back to you, and you can make them." Because Sans is good at that. He's good at taking an initial thought, an initial design, and taking it and going, "Oh yes, if we did this, we could make it slightly funnier," and making, little adjustments and mass producing it and whatnot. So it's like leave Sans with that. Um, Cheese invites Pinky to join him on his journey to figure out her life purpose, but she's realized that her purpose is the same as his, um, which is making ponies laugh. And as long as she's doing that, she she's purposing her life all over the place. Um, let's see, I already kind of covered that. Yeah, she's already living out her purpose in the very beginning of the show, much like AJ. AJ and Punk had their crisis before the show began. Anyway, AJ found purpose. Yeah, okay, we already covered that in detail. Cheese pie shippers are going to run hard with this one.
Oh yeah.
And, to be honest, it would be, if you're gonna ship her with someone, you could do a hell of a lot worse than cheese sandwich.
Cheese sandwich is basically her soulmate, okay?
Yeah,
It's kind of like how Mudbriar works so perfectly with Mod Pie.
yeah, it's like this is hand in glove. This is just like, yes, they have the same life purpose, making others laugh. And I can only imagine with Cheese at his height and Pinky, you know, there, like those two would create some insane parties and insane gags together. Which it seems like, it would be interesting is if you had an epilogue for the whole show. Um, and it's like, what did they do out? When after they rode into the sunset, what did they do? Well, Twilight ruled Equestria. Rarity ran her shops and became, one of the greatest fashion icons of her generation. Uh, Applejack worked the farm, and maybe there's a little family involved. She meets a nice stallion, and there's a family involved. And not to say that the
Man,
others
she's
wouldn't, but
ace.
what? In the
She's a
apples? What? Sorry.
she's ace.
She's what?
Asexual.
Oh,
She doesn't care about stallions.
well, that's your head canon. That's not to say that that couldn't happen. That she couldn't be, fine. Since family is such a big deal for the apples, that could be a thing that she does. We don't know. She's not really confirmed for anything. Um, Fluttershy doing the same sort of thing. And then you see just out on the out on the equestrian plains, you see you see Cheese and Pinky riding along into the galloping along into the sunset, having just completed another party. Yeah. It's one of those things that, yeah, if she was going to run off into the sunset with somebody, Cheese would be the one. But um
Yep.
uh Anyway, um, but yeah, it's a very simple, straightforward episode, but um, but it's fun. It's simple. It feels a bit like a season one episode in that it's sort of simple, but it's fun. But it's a lot of fun. It's good seeing Weird Al again. Um,
Well, hearing Weird Al, anyways.
yeah, which yeah, just having cheese again, cheese on screen again is nice. And it's
No,
always
that really was Weird Al. He just turned himself into a pony.
And a cartoon, which, no, I've seen him do that before.
yeah,
Yeah.
but he's not a stranger to being a cartoon. Because
I mean,
he's yeah, I mean he's
look at some
actually
of his
had a
music
cartoon show or
videos.
something at one point.
Yeah, but look at some of his music videos.
Yeah, some of his music videos. He had a TV. There was some TV stuff he did where he was a cartoon or something, you know. And so yeah, he's Weird Al, you know. Anyway, any final thoughts on the last laugh?
Sorry, I'm not Jerry Springer.
Okay.
I guess there'll be no more laughing in the show.
Not if Pinky has anything to do with it.